Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. Right now, this is a topic that I wanted to bring to the table here. I wanted to talk about Wrexham because a couple things have happened recently. They gained promotion into the third tier of English football, and an American broadcaster mentioned that they are doing just about as much, if not more, than MLS for American soccer, and everybody on lost their shit. So, gentlemen, what are your guys' thoughts on Wrexham? I don't know if I know how you guys stand.
So Wrexham is a nice pet project from Ryan Reynolds and the other guy who everybody keeps forgetting he owns it.
Rob McElhenney. He's like the one who spearheaded it.
And the other guy. Anyways, it was a pet project. It's nice. It's a good documentary, blah, blah, blah. It's like a real life Ted Lasso show. Okay. My thing is, Wrexham did not do anything for MLS that MLS did not do for itself. It's not like Wrexham went out and bought Messi for the MLS. It's not like Wrexham freaking, created all these expansion teams that are paying close to $500 million for the honor of joining this MLS league. So, by all means, whoever said that, the guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wasting his time. He wants to create controversy. Everybody wants to be a hero every now and then. So you know what? For all I care, Wrexham's probably going to get relegated next season, right? Because honestly, if you're going to go to Division 1, which is the third tier of the pyramid, you got to start paying money, man. So Ryan Reynolds, I know Ryan Reynolds is loaded. He'll be able to buy players. The other guy, I don't know, not so much.
Oh, it's always sunny guy, Rob McElhenney, yeah. But
he's got some money too, man. Don't be fooled.
I mean, does he have oil money?
No. Well, hold on. Before we get to
Hollywood money.
You brought something up I want to touch on, but before you get to that, James, what is your feelings and thoughts about this whole Wrexham thing?
I really like it. I'm kind of surprised at how little I've watched the show, which is not at all. I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen 1 minute of it. I'm interested. I love seeing the little tweets of both these guys at the games, and they're celebrating and they're having a blast, and they have their families there, and they start talking about stuff, and I'm like, oh, they definitely care. They're putting the time in, not only just to learn this, but to be good at it. But I do wonder if I've seen how this ends before. There's a little FIFA YouTuber I used to watch back in the day that was called a guy named Spencer FC. He started off his own soccer team that basically showed its games on YouTube, and it became very, very popular. Still is somewhat popular now. It's called #United.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so #United started up. It started up from this idea when he would make these YouTube matches, when bring in other YouTubers to play with real footballers, real soccer players, and it was really, really cool idea. And he took that to the next level where he formed his own team, and then has been and taken that. But he's kind of, they still do their YouTube thing, and they're very hyper focused on that. But like the audience, I think that they've drifted, and I wonder at what point Wrexham's audience is going to start to drift. You brought it up, DPG and Toke. They've flew up the table. They are not going to keep going straight up the table. It just logic dictates they're going to hit a wall, and they're going to suffer, and they might even go down for a season or catch themselves and start rebounding and then go up from there. But they're not going to keep catapulting to the top. And if they do, that's an amazing phenomenon that'll be fun to watch. But it's just, I love watching this, and I like what it's doing, and it's getting people who are not interested in soccer interested in soccer. Because that's who I think is watching this. I think because you said it, people who aren't necessarily knowing the table right now today, or that every so often check on, what's going on in EFL? Oh, what's going on in the Premier League? Oh, what's going on in the Scottish League? So you could kind of stay up to date on potentially even Champions League spots and all that kind of stuff. So the diehards. This isn't for the diehards. It's for the casuals, the people who have that subscription. But here's what I do know. This Wrexham thing is working, and I wonder why. It makes me think about why it's working. They're doing some sort of amazing Moneyball tactics where, honestly, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, I can't even say his last name, but the guy from Always Sunny, who's an awesome writer and a star.
McElhenney.
McElhenney, yeah.
So they went out and they hired the best of the best. And not only did they hire the best of the best, they hired the best of the best that works harder than the rest. And when you hire the best of the best that works harder than the rest, you're going up like this. So at what point do they hit their ceiling? It could come in this next season or in the championship, but they're going to hit it. But I still think they got the right people there, and they're going to have the right moves to try and figure this out and to keep heading upward. I think it's going to be a fun little thing, but the interest will naturally dissipate. I think it will dissipate because it's not like Leicester. It's not like this Leicester Fox is out of fucking nowhere. You got to watch the genesis. So maybe that does bring a lot of people in the way, but it also could make people be like disinterested, and people stop tuning in because you know what? Oh, they're there now, and now it's just expected.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard thing to get past. I mean, I'll tell you how I feel. I've been like as a fan of promotion relegation, as a fan of soccer, as a fan of just like as a fan of seeing, we bring up in almost every episode Jordan Morris, but as a fan of seeing like the difference, like I always think of like college sports when you think of soccer before, like at least not now, but before, where you had so many different divisions. And it was like somebody could win the Ivy League and it could be exciting and amazing. And maybe they got stomped as soon as they went to the tournament, but that didn't matter because for 3 months they played their conference, and like that's all that mattered in the world, right? So that's always been cool. So I've even though I know what happens, I've always been 100% down with the show. Like it's been awesome. I've watched both seasons.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, I've watched it all, man. It's a great show. And like,
so if you could give me a little bit of the elevator pitch, because to me it's like, oh, it's not Ted Lasso. This is real life soccer, and it's like, and it shows, the intricacies of what's going on with the team inside of the rooms, inside of the locker room. And it shows a little bit of the coach talking about tactics, and then they show a little bit of clips of the games and the narratives going on. That's basically the gist?
Oh, yeah. So it highlights people that are just fans of the team as well, right? So it really highlights community things. It brings a lot of things together.
It's like a real life Ted Lasso then, because Ted Lasso does that, but they do that with their characters. Like they talk about the bar lady and all the bar blokes and the fans.
Oh yeah,
so that's interesting.
So like we are not the number one audience.
Mm-hmm.
We as huge soccer fans will totally enjoy the show. But the number one audience is somebody who doesn't know anything. So it's like you got the human interest stuff, you've got the actual business of it, you get enough behind the scenes stuff of like the coach yelling at the players and transfer stuff and things we know about as well. Like it's a really cool balance of a show. There are like sometimes, because there's a few episodes that are too Hollywood, they're too like concept-y of an episode, but when they just keep it real documentary-esque, it's better, right? Just because it's so fun to see something like a town rally around something like this and enjoy it. And to your point, they were the big dogs in a small pond. And I really kind of like, that's you guys both brought it up, but that's what I wanted to ask.
They're not even in England. Wrexham is
they're in Wales.
Wrexham is a special club. Like whenever I would play Football Manager, this is before Ryan Reynolds and McElhenney even bought the club. My favorite team to choose in Football Manager was always Wrexham because I loved the history. They have the race course ground. It's one of the oldest grounds in all of soccer.
The third oldest field in soccer. Yeah, it's the third oldest. Man, so that's crazy.
I'm a history buff, so I was like, you know what? I'll take their team, and I would take their team and I'd bring them up. And it's kind of absolutely nuts how some of the players who I would keep on that team are still freaking doing it. It's wild. Paul Mullins, right?
Mullins, like he came home. I think he came up in the youth system, or no, he didn't. He grew up in Liverpool, but I guess I think his wife's family is from Wales over there, and I think that's why it was the perfect opportunity. He saw the opportunity to play well in a league below his level, get paid more, and also become a star and be at home with his kids, he's never going anywhere else. I'm sure if they cut his contract, he'll just retire. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of how this cat is. It's been a really fun ride, but like now we're getting to the scary part, because honestly, if we're talking just Rob and Ryan money, I think their ceiling is a yo-yo team between League One and the championship.
Yes, that makes sense.
If like they'll get to the championship, but they won't stay, type of thing, right? So do they sell out? They've been doing this for a long time, trying to prove that they're in it for the long haul. Do they start to sell out, or do they become minority owners and let somebody with pockets like a Saudi oil baron, come in and fill the coffers to get to the Premier League?
My question is this: how rich is Ryan Reynolds? He owns a freaking telephone company and a soccer team.
No, he sold the telephone company. He owned the gin is what makes him all his money now. Like, he sold the telephone company for like something ridiculous, like billions or something stupid.
They're saying 350 mil. So yeah, he's not a billionaire.
Okay.
So he's not a billionaire.
But that's still stupid money, dog.
Oh my god, yeah.
Give me one, and I will be good for the rest of my life.
Uno million, please.
Yeah, uno million. But I don't know, man. I really would hate to see them sell out or even like bring in dark money. You know what I mean, to compete for the Premier League. But honestly, I feel like if it's just them, you're gonna see that they're gonna yo-yo between the championship and League One. I think. I mean, that's my own personal opinion.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. I know you're not watching this podcast, but look into what they do over in Germany and how the fans partially own the club. Maybe,
well, dude, this is like
maybe there's something there.
This is like if like, I don't know, like Memphis had a team, dude. There's not like a ton of people in Wrexham. We're talking less than 100,000.
Memphis has a soccer team.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean. There's only 3 Welsh teams that play in the English football pyramid.
Right, that's what I love about that too.
It's Wrexham, Cardiff, and I don't remember the last one.
Coventry City?
Coventry, okay.
I think it's Coventry.
Yeah.
Cardiff, I knew. Coventry City, let me double check.
Yeah, man. Oh, when Eddie Johnson went to Cardiff.
No, Coventry's in Coventry, England. Never mind.
I had my fingers crossed, man. I thought Eddie Johnson might do something out there, but alas.
What are the 3 clubs? Welsh clubs in English football. Cardiff.
Welcome back.
Merthyr, Newport County, Swansea.
Oh, Swansea. That's who it was. Oh, dude. So Bob Bradley not only got to coach in the Premier League, but he got to do it while living in Wales. That sounds awesome.
All right, I think that'll wrap it up here for our Welsh segment.
Unless DPG, do you have anything insulting to say to the Welsh people?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I will say this. I think this club, the way it's set up, Wrexham, I honestly think that this might be their ceiling. Maybe the championship, but it has to come to a point where it's all fun and games to have a whole documentary and, be fun guys or whatever. But now you kind of need very serious people to run this club.
Also, at what point, do all of these players, you have to get used to these cameras. And if they're not going away, does that start grating on you? And then you can't feel like you could be your natural self?
Not only that, but you also have to have a different caliber of players. Like, I know this team probably still carrying a lot of the players from the National League.
Are they actors?
No, they're not actors. You need to stop.
So the thing is, you're carrying all these players from the National League.
Yeah, no, but they made big transfers in coming into this league too. They added 2 or 3 big pieces. Like, Mullins was playing 2 leagues down from where he won the Golden Boot. You know what I mean? Like, they have some real players on that team.
But up to what point you don't start venturing into like South America to find, your
that scouting network's gonna have to get bigger. You're right.
The scouting network, and because maybe not so much in Division 1 where they're heading towards, but if they do get to the championship, At that point, you have to have a whole entire setup different. You have to have a youth academy. You have to have a scouting network. You have to have, all these different types of coaches. You need to have
Do they have that?
analysts.
They do.
No.
They do. They do. They actually had a whole episode where so they've been doing this slowly. Like despite back-to-back promotions, they had a season where they missed promotion the year before. So like they really wanted to get the men's team promoted out of the National League. That was goal 1. Goal 2 was start construction on the stands at the stadium. And then goal 3 was get the women's team playing in the stadium and on their feet. And now like stage 4 is like they already had a huge network of like youth soccer in the area, but like now get the youth teams together. So they have real serious people that they've hired, and they're always they're willing to spend the money when they need to spend the money. And that's where
I want to say this. First of all, we've seen this issue before is that you can't throw money at the problem.
Not totally. You got to be good too. You got to be good at what you're doing.
At what point do they start bringing in Premier League caliber, not only Premier League caliber players, Premier League caliber coaches, and have a Premier League caliber setup?
And will Premier League caliber players and coaches want to deal with the cameras?
And not only that,
some will flock to it. Like you got to be careful because guess who you think would probably love this is what me worry freaking Mario Balotelli. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
you got to be careful with player acquisition.
But as you could tell, setups like a Premier League caliber setup, it takes longer than one season.
It takes a long time.
It takes a long time. So don't be surprised if they can't get past Division 1, and they might be sitting there fighting relegation for the next couple of seasons, unless something changes. And then let's say they do get promoted to championship.
Oh, they'll be in the championship 5 years at least. That's a dogfight. That's a dogfight out there, dog.
that's gonna. But at that point, have you ever met any eccentric Premier League team owners as eccentric and out there like Ryan Reynolds and the other guy?
A little bit, like the guy who owned Leicester was a little bit out there, and the guy. Remember the guy who owns Fulham had the Michael Jackson statue.
Yeah, but those guys were like kind of. Those guys were not like. Those are kind of weirdo, right?
You're right.
But we're talking about guys like Ryan Reynolds, a freaking movie actor. You think he's gonna be like, in a movie scene, in a movie shoot, freaking talking to, negotiators to sign a player and whatnot?
Yes, they tell him, they go, how much can we spend, and then they go do it. But hold on, I want to touch one more thing. I know James tried to get out of here, but we got one more thing to talk about. Was the comment made that they are doing just as much, if not more, than MLS for American soccer?
Yes,
and I feel like
no.
I would agree with that. I agree with that. And I'm going to tell you why DPG doesn't and why I do. Because what we never consider as American soccer fans, because we thought they were not mutual. We thought they were together. We didn't think they could be mutually exclusive. Interest versus talent. DPG is an individual who wants a U.S. player to be one of the better players on the planet and wants a great USMNT team. But believes that is what's going to bring it to the popularity of football in this country, right? But you have to have things like Wrexham at this stage where the sport is to bring up the popularity, because what happens is you watch Wrexham for a few years, then your buddy's like, oh man, we're going to crush some beers and go see the Revolution, man. You want to come? Oh yeah, let's see what's up with this. And then it's like, wow, these guys are good, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Wrexham is building interest in the game, which is never a bad thing.
I wonder how many people are watching.
Well, I want to say this. All right. MLS at this point doesn't need any gimmicky stuff like this. I mean, if you want gimmicks, look at Messi. Messi's like the present day version.
Look at the start of every MLS game.
Oh my God. Come on, dude. I want so badly like a Hard Knocks MLS documentary, dude.
Look, put it like this. So I've worked with people. I have worked with older coworkers that were around when Pele was playing for the Cosmos, and they don't care about soccer. Their thing was, Man, I got to see Pele play once when he played for the Cosmos. That's it. That's where the soccer knowledge ends. And we're kind of going through that same phase again with Messi, except that now, yeah, I wouldn't even say it's the same because now you have all these people that wouldn't care about soccer that they like playing FIFA. You know,
Well, yeah, I think that's a good thing, man. That's how I
that is
learned
a
about
good
European soccer.
that is a good thing. But you don't need something like Wrexham to like, you know, bring in. I mean, I guess it'll interest people to a certain extent, but it's not going to be like at a Messi level scale.
Oh no, it's not. I
You
would
know,
agree. I don't think it. Yeah, but
yeah.
I would agree with that. But I still think they're bringing a lot of people. And speaking about bringing a lot of people, we're going to talk about the Fire next, which brings in all the people.
See you on the flip side.